Today I'll show you an action movie from 2008 called Ip Man. The movie started in 1935 Foshan, a hub of southern Chinese martial arts where various community clubs actively recruit disciples and compete against each other. Ip Man, the most skilled martial artist in town, maintains a discreet profile while building a reputation for skill through friendly closed-door competitions with other masters. As an independently wealthy man, he feels none to accept any disciples and instead spends his days training, meeting with friends and spending time with his family. One day, fellow Kung Fu master Lu visits Ip Man in his home to have a private duel between them. Ip Man hesitates for a while as his wife is often resentful of the time he spends training martial arts with his friends and colleagues instead of spending time with her and their son June. But when Master Lu insists on waiting, Ip Man eventually gives in. They have dinner together and then prepare for a private duel. Meanwhile, a local troublemaker named One loses his kite, which lands in a tree in the backyard of Ip Man's family. While retrieving it, One witnesses it defeating Master Lu in a sparring match. Although Ip and Lu had agreed that the news of who won would remain a secret, One unwittingly spreads the story around town, unintentionally destroying the reputation of Master Lu. When Master Lu hears the rumor, he immediately hunts down One and confronts him. One's brother Lin, a restaurant owner and disciple of Master Lu, publicly embarrasses One when he tries to arrange a rematch between Master Lu and Ip Man. Following the embarrassment, One runs away from town. Later at his house, Ip Man is visited by his friend Quan, who offers him to be a business partner in his new clothing business. Ip Man says he doesn't know anything about business, but still decides to invest and demands the money back. When Quan is able to make some profit out of the company, one day an aggressive, rude, highly skilled northern Chinese martial arts master Jin Zhao, this is the Foshan province, to challenge the Kung Fu masters. He boasts his northern skills and demands to have a duel with each master until he can be celebrated as the best master in the entire province. Shortly after, the Foshan masters, including Master Lu, begin having a one-on-one duel with Jin. However, they are all defeated by the northern master, believing that he has outnumbered every martial arts club master in Foshan. Jin celebrates with his disciples, but a restaurant owner tells him that Jin is yet to duel with the best of the province, that is Ip Man. Hearing this, he immediately ventures down to Ip Man's house and demands a duel with him. Ip Man is reluctant at first, as he wants to keep a low profile and doesn't want to prove anything to arrogant Jin. But when Jin starts bad-mouthing Ip Man and his wife, our Kung Fu master doesn't take it well, so he agrees to have the duel. Moments later, the doors are locked as the two masters prepare to duel with each other. As expected, Ip Man wins the duel with his exceptional skills, leaving the arrogant Jin all embarrassed. The victory helps Ip Man to uphold the regional pride of fellow southern Kung Fu practitioners, masters, and others in Foshan. However, in the next scene, the Second Sino-Japanese War takes place. This is set in 1937, when the Japanese invasion adversely affect the lives of everyone in Foshan. In 1938, Ashan was occupied by the Japanese, who destroyed factories, infrastructures, and buildings. The population of Foshan shrunk from 300,000 to only over 70,000. Ip Man's house is claimed by the Japanese and used as their Foshan headquarters. He and his family lose their wealth and are forced to move into a decrepit house. One day, while staying in queue to get rice, Ip Man spots his business partner Quan, whose cotton mill that was set up to open a clothing business seems to be going well. One reminds him of the investment that Ip Man gave him years ago. Ip Man says he almost forgot about the money, promising to return the investment. One decides to give 10 of shares of his company to Ip Man. After that, he invites Ip Man for lunch, but the latter refuses to stay and instead returns home, running out of valuables to sell for food and support his family. Ip Man goes door to door looking for jobs. He finally gets signed up at a coal mine alongside Lin, who hopes to reconcile with his brother, but has so far failed to track him down. At the coal site, Lin talks about an iron box that he just lost. At the same time, Japanese soldiers arrive at the site. Among them is Li Xiao, a former police officer and Hitman's acquaintance who is now working as a translator for the Japanese. Li announces that a Japanese General Mira, who is a karate master, has set up an arena where Chinese martial artists can challenge his military trainees for a bag of rice. Li is here to recruit anyone willing to fight, believing that this could be the opportunity to fend for his family. Lin immediately raises his hand to participate in the arena. He, along with the 3 other martial artists, are taken in the jeep. Next, when they arrive at the arena, Lin sees his Foshan master Lu fighting there and claiming his recent victory, that is a bag of rice. Meanwhile, General Mira and his men watch from the arena above as the enjoyment fighting for survival. Once Master Lu concludes his duel, General demands to have a duel himself with 3 Chinese martial artists. Lin decides to join, but not for a bag of rice, but to beat the general, as it's because of the Japanese that they have to live such a poor life. Now, however, once inside the arena, the general successfully defeats Lin and the other 2 martial artists. Just when the general is about to return to his seat, Lin attacks him from behind, but the general is skilled enough to sense Lin's attack and in turn seriously injures him. The following day, if man doesn't see Lin at work, so he begins to worry. He asks around, but nobody seems to know about Lin's whereabouts. Just then Li arrives at the site and once again announces General Mira's duel. If man asks him about what happened to Lin following his match at the arena, but he is too silent to inform his friend about Lin. Enraged, Ip Man agrees to take part in the arena in order to investigate. At the arena, it witnesses a fellow Foshan Master Lu being shot in the back of the head by Mira's sadistic deputy Colonel Sato for picking up a bag of rice from a prior victory, deciding that Lin was killed in his fight against Mira. At man demands a match with 10 of Mira's men at once, despite having not practiced martial arts since the invasion began. In order to conserve what little food his family had to survive, he proceeds to mercilessly crush each of them. His skill arouses the interest of Mira, who insists that Ip Man return as soon as possible to learn more about him and see him fight again. He then proceeds to give 10 bags of rice to Ip Man for his victory. However, Ip Man refuses to accept the reward as he quietly picks up Master Lu's bloodstained bag and later gives it to his surviving family. Meanwhile, Jin Shan Zhao, a highly skilled northern Chinese martial arts master who once defeated all the masters in Foshan except IP, now leads a band to King and harasses the workers at the cotton mill run by Quan. IP's friend Quan is brutally beaten by Jin at the mill when he says he doesn't have any money. All this is happening, one's son manages to sneak away to IP Man's house and plead for help. By the time Ip Man arrives at the mill, Jin and his men are gone. One tells Ip Man that a highway robbery gang led by Jin Shan Zhao is harassing his workers and extorting money from them. IP agrees to train the workers, therefore self-defense. Elsewhere, Mir grows impatient when Ip Man does not return to the arena and sends Sato and 2 other men to find him. These men harass IP Man's family, but Ip Man easily incapacitates them. He and his family then go into hiding at Li Zhao's house. Sadly, Li is brutally assaulted by Mira's men later when they find out that he let Ip Man flee regardless of the torture. Li is a trusted friend, so he doesn't reveal IP Man's whereabouts to the Japanese. Meanwhile, the robbers have returned to the cotton mill to demand money. The workers are able to stall the gang long enough for Ip Man to arrive and defeat Jin and one, now a part of the gang. After running Jin's gang out of Foshan, Ip Man confronts one and gives him a small tin that belonged to Lin. After informing him of his brother's death, one opens the tin and finds his kite inside. This finally motivates one to leave the gang. One night, Li comes running to his home and informs Ip Man that the Japanese have learned about the cotton mill and are looking for him. He suggests the master stay put while he handles the situation. When Li arrives at the cotton mill, he sees that Quan and the workers are taken as hostages. Despite Li's warnings, Ip Man arrives at the scene and surrenders himself to the Japanese while arranging for his wife and son to be sent to Hong Kong for protection. Mira tells Ip Man that his life will be spared if he agrees to instruct the Japanese soldiers in Chinese martial arts. Ip Man refuses and challenges Miura to a match, which Miura accepts both because of his love for martial arts and because refusing the challenge would be a humiliation to the Japanese, though Sato insists on executing it. Miura wants to uphold his honor and crush the Chinese spirit up until the tournament. Ip Man is kept in a cell the night before the tournament. Sato visits him in his cell and threatens Ip Man with death if he does not allow the general to win. Meanwhile, Quan drives away with IP Man's wife and son, hoping to escape from Foshan before the Japanese catch them, but the wife begins crying and insists to Quan that they stay behind to watch the duel, as it could be the last time she will be seeing her husband. The following day, the match between Ip Man and Mira is held in public in Foshan Square. At first they seem equally matched, but Moreau becomes overwhelmed and is unable to fend off IP Man's attacks as he effortlessly uses him as a wooden dummy, inflicting a severe beating on him and clearly winning with the people of Ocean. Watching it defeats Mura after a long and hard fight. As the beaten general lies down after his defeat, he looks over to the crowd and hears the Chinese cheering him. Within the crowd, he spots his wife and son with Quan. Just then, Mira's deputy Santo shoots Ip Man in the shoulder.